It was a hot afternoon. The sun was sharp, the highway was busy. Cars rushed past without slowing down. On the side of the road, a luxury car had stopped. One of its back tires was completely flat. Beside the car stood a man in his mid-40s. Clean white shirt, tailored trousers, expensive watch, shining under the sun. His face showed frustration. He kept raising his phone, but there was no signal, no garage nearby, no help in sight. From a distance, a boy was walking along the road, thin, maybe 12 or 13 years old. His shoes were worn out, his school bag looked old. His name was Kwame. He had just finished school and was on his way home. Kwame slowed his steps when he saw the car. He looked at the man, then at the flat tire. With calm confidence, he asked, "Uncle, your tire is flat, isn't it?" The man turned to him, surprised. "Yes, completely flat, and I'm stuck here." Kwame placed his bag on the ground. "If you allow me, I can change it." The man raised his eyebrows. "You? Do you even know how?" Kwame smiled. "Yes, I walk past the workshop every day. I watch them work. I've learned. Let me try." The man sighed. He had no other option. "All right, go ahead." Kwame pulled out the jack and tools from the car. His small hands worked with surprising skill. Sweat ran down his forehead under the afternoon sun, but his eyes showed determination. The man stood silently, watching. How could this boy be so confident? In a short while, the tire was changed. Kwame dusted off his hands and said with a smile, "It's done, Uncle. You can drive now." Relief filled the man's face. "Amazing, son. You've really helped me today." He reached into his pocket and pulled out some cash. "Here, take this. A reward for your help." Kwame shook his head immediately. "No, Uncle, I don't want money." The man was shocked. "Why not? You worked hard for this." Kwame answered softly, "My mother says the reward for doing good is receiving good in return. I only need your prayers." The man stared at him speechless. So young, yet so mature. It struck his heart deeply. After a pause, he asked, "What's your name, son?" "My name is Kwame," the boy replied, picking up his school bag. He began to walk away. The man quickly called out, "Wait, Kwame." Kwame stopped. The man walked closer. "Son, I don't just want to thank you. I want to know your story. What is your life like?" Kwame hesitated, then spoke quietly. "Uncle, life is not easy. My father is sick. My mother works cleaning houses. We are 3 siblings. Studying is hard. We don't always have books, so after school I do small jobs to help." The man's heart grew heavy. So much struggle at such a young age, and still smiling. Kwame continued, "But Uncle, I believe one day things will change. Hard work never goes to waste." Tears formed in the man's eyes. He reached into his wallet, took out a visiting card, and placed it in Kwame's hand. "Son, this is my card. Keep it. If you ever need help, call me." Kwame looked at the card and slipped it into his pocket. For him, it was just a piece of paper. He thanked the man and walked away. The man stood watching him until he disappeared in the distance. One thought echoed in his mind. This boy is not ordinary. His eyes hold dreams. Dreams that must not die. That evening, the businessman sat in his office. Million-pound deals, contracts, meetings, but his mind was stuck on Kwame. Meanwhile, Kwame reached his home, a small, broken house. The roof leaked, the room was dim, his mother was cooking, his younger siblings were trying to read from old, torn pages. Kwame quietly pulled the card from his pocket and placed it on the corner of the bed. He didn't know. This card was about to change his destiny forever. A simple moment, a flat tire, a boy with a strong heart, and a man with gratitude. But in truth, this moment was the beginning of a new story. The next morning, Kwame woke up early. His house was quiet, except for the sound of his mother coughing in the kitchen. The room was small, the walls cracked, the floor uneven. His younger sister, Zuri, was still asleep on the thin mattress, holding a torn notebook close to her chest. Kwame looked at the visiting card lying on the edge of the bed. He didn't pay much attention to it. To him, it was still just a piece of paper. His priority was clear: go to school, then find some work to bring home a little money. He washed his face, tied his shoelaces, and left for the day. On the other side of the city, the businessman, Mr. Adewale, sat in his office, but he wasn't his usual self. Normally, his mornings were filled with confidence, meetings, and endless phone calls. But today, he couldn't focus. Every time he tried to read a contract, Kwame's face appeared in his mind. That boy, with dusty shoes and old clothes, had helped him without asking for a single penny. Adewale leaned back in his leather chair. He thought, "In my life, I've met countless people, employees, investors, politicians, But I've never seen a child like him. So much dignity, so much strength. Finally, he picked up the phone and called his assistant. I need you to trace this boy. His name is Kwame. He should live somewhere near the east side, close to the old schools. Find him. The assistant was surprised. Sir, may I ask why? Adewale replied firmly, because I believe he deserves more than the life he has. Kwame's school was tough. The teacher often asked for new books, but Kwame had to share one textbook with two of his classmates. Sometimes he couldn't even afford lunch. His friends noticed, but never said anything. After school, Kwame didn't go home straight away. He went to a local mechanic's shop, where he helped clean tools, fetch water, and sometimes lift tires. The pay was small, just enough to buy a loaf of bread or a little rice for the family. Yet Kwame never complained. When his friends asked him why he always worked after school, he answered simply, "One day I want my family to live better. For that, I'll do whatever it takes." That evening, when he returned home, he saw his mother sitting silently, holding a pile of unpaid bills. Her eyes were tired. Kwame placed the little money he had earned on the table. "Mama, don't worry. Things will change." She looked at him, her eyes wet. "Kwame, you're just a child. You shouldn't carry all this weight." But Kwame smiled. "Mama, I'm not just a child. I'm your son. I'll fight for us." Meanwhile, Adewale's assistant had been searching. He went through schools, asked people near the old mechanic shops, and finally, after 2 days, he found out where Kwame lived. When Adewale heard the news, he immediately told his driver, "Take me there." The car drove through narrow, broken streets, past small houses with leaking roofs and children playing barefoot. Finally, it stopped in front of Kwame's tiny home. Adewale stepped out, his polished shoes sinking slightly into the dusty ground. Neighbors stared. Who was this rich man in a luxury car coming here? He knocked on the wooden door. After a moment, Kwame's mother opened it, surprised. "Yes, can I help you?" Adewale spoke gently. "Good evening. I'm looking for a boy named Kwame. Is he here?" She hesitated, then called inside. "Kwame, someone is here for you." Kwame came out, holding a small notebook in his hand. His eyes widened when he saw the man. "Uncle, it's you!" Adewale smiled warmly. "Yes, it's me. May I come in?" Inside, Adewale saw the reality. The broken furniture, the dim light, the leaking roof. He sat carefully on a chair while Kwame's mother offered him water in a small plastic cup. "Your son helped me recently," Adewale explained. "My car broke down and he fixed it. But more than that, he touched my heart with his honesty." Kwame's mother lowered her eyes. He has always been like this, stronger than his years. Adewale turned to Kwame. "Son, when you walked away that day, I realized I couldn't forget you. I see potential in you. You have something rare, courage, dignity, and kindness. I want to help." Kwame looked confused. "Help? How, Uncle?" Adewale leaned forward. "I want to sponsor your education. Not just school. I will make sure you have books, uniforms, food, everything. And when you grow, I'll help you get into the best colleges. But there is one condition." Kwame swallowed hard. "What condition, Uncle?" Adewale smiled. "That you never give up, that you use this opportunity to build a better life for yourself and for others." Kwame's eyes filled with tears. His mother covered her mouth in shock. For a moment, silence filled the room. Then Kwame stood up straight, placed his small hand on his chest, and said, "Uncle, I promise. I won't waste this chance." From that day, everything began to change. Adewale arranged for Kwame to be enrolled in a better school. He sent books, uniforms, even proper shoes. For the first time, Kwame didn't have to share textbooks. For the first time, he could sit in class without worrying about hunger. But Kwame didn't let the comfort make him lazy. He studied harder than ever before. He woke up early, revised his notes, and still helped his mother with chores at home. His teachers noticed. "This boy is special," one of them said. "He has the mind of a leader." Kwame's siblings also felt the difference. His little sister Zuri started to dream too. "One day I'll be like my brother. I'll study hard and make Mama proud." Late at night, Adewale would sometimes think about his own childhood. He too had once been poor, though not as poor as Kwame. He remembered walking miles to school, sometimes barefoot. But he had been given opportunities, and those opportunities had made him a millionaire. Now, looking at Kwame, he thought, maybe this is my chance to give back. Maybe this boy is meant for something bigger. Weeks turned into months. Kwame's life slowly transformed. He still remembered the mechanic's shop, the struggles, the days of hunger, but now he carried books, not tools. Now his evenings were filled with study, not just survival. Yet inside he remained the same, humble, grateful, and determined. One evening, as the sun set over the small neighborhood, Kwame sat on the doorstep of his home, holding his books. He whispered to himself, "This is just the beginning. One day, I will rise, and when I do, I'll never forget where I came from." And he meant it. Years passed. Kwame had grown taller, his voice deeper, his confidence unshakable. He was no longer the boy with worn-out shoes on a dusty street. He was now a young man with sharp eyes, strong discipline, and dreams that refused to die. Through Adewale's support and his own endless hard work, Kwame had graduated top of his class. His name had spread across schools in the city. Teachers spoke of him with pride, calling him a shining example. Scholarships came his way, and soon he was offered a place at one of the best universities abroad. The day he received the letter, he ran home holding it close to his chest. His mother, now healthier thanks to better care, opened the door. Kwame placed the letter in her hands. "Mama, I made it. I'm going to university." Her tears flowed freely. She pulled him close. "My son, I always believed in you. You've carried us all this way. Now go and make the world see who you are." Adewale was there too. He looked at Kwame with pride. "Son, this is your time. Remember your promise. Never give up. Never forget where you came from." Kwame nodded firmly. Life abroad was not easy. The culture was different, the studies demanding, and at times the loneliness was heavy. But Kwame kept his focus. He remembered the leaking roof of his childhood home, his mother's tired eyes, his little sister reading from torn notebooks. That memory fueled him more than anything else. While others partied, Kwame stayed in the library. While others complained, he worked twice as hard. Slowly, professors noticed. He became one of the top students, not only passing, but excelling, earning respect and admiration. After years of determination, Kwame graduated with honors. At the ceremony, as he walked across the stage in his gown, he looked at the crowd and thought, "This is not just my victory. This is for Mama, for Zuri, for every child who thinks their dreams are impossible." But Kwame's story didn't stop there. He returned home, not as a boy struggling to survive, but as a man ready to change lives. He didn't buy luxury cars or build mansions. Instead, he built schools. He started programs for children who had no books, no uniforms, no opportunities, just like he once had. When asked why, Kwame answered simply, "Because someone once believed in me when I had nothing. Now it's my duty to believe in others." His younger sister Zuri, inspired by him, became a teacher in one of the schools he founded. Together, they turned their community into a place of hope. One evening, Kwame stood outside his new school, watching children run and laugh, their hands filled with books, their eyes filled with dreams. Beside him stood Mr. Adewale, now older, his hair gray but his spirit strong. Adewale looked at Kwame with a smile. "You've done more than I ever imagined. You've turned your struggle into light for others." Kwame bowed his head slightly. "Uncle, everything I am today started the day you gave me that card. That moment changed my destiny." Adewale placed a hand on his shoulder. "No, son, the card was just paper. What changed your destiny was your heart, your courage, and your refusal to give up." Kwame's eyes grew moist, but he smiled. He looked at the children playing and said, "This is just the beginning. As long as I live, I'll keep building, because I know what it means to have nothing, and I know what it means to fight for everything." And with that, the boy who once fixed a tire on the side of a highway became a symbol of hope, not just for his family, not just for his community, but for countless others who would one day rise from the same struggles.